Trigger warning. I'm going to talk about the election and oil because those two things are going to affect us here in Canada more than anything else. And it looks like a no-win scenario. And when I talk about this, you're going to get triggered. Don't comment. If you can listen to the whole video, fantastic. Do that. If not, just scroll past. I'm not going to give you my opinion on anything. I'm just going to show you the facts. Let me start here. Sell stocks if a Trump win drives a rally, according to Citigroup. Why? Euphoric sentiment is leaving U.S. markets ripe for a pullback. And right now, or at least before a couple days ago, there was euphoric sentiment that Trump would win. And it was, according to some experts, driving highs in the market. And then this week, this happened. So, all you need to know is this. The stock market in the U.S. is essentially a giant casino and people are placing bets. Now, the problem with bets is that people tend to go with their gut. And quite often they don't do the research. That's why Bank of America joined Citi's call to sell stocks if Trump wins sparks a rally. Why? Because if Trump wins, there could be a return of inflation. And of course, a return of inflation means a return to higher interest rates and job losses, etc., etc. Why are they saying this? First, U.S. oil production hits another record, adding to supply worries. What are those supply worries? That there's too much supply. As I mentioned many times, OPEC is set to increase supply in Q1, and apparently they've already started to increase supply. The U.S. has taken a lot of market share. The Saudis want some of that market share back, so it looks like there's going to be a price war. Increased supply. The forecast for global oil supply and demand, right there. And here's the important bit. Next year, global oil production is expected to exceed demand by an average of 1.2 million barrels per day. That supply-demand mismatch has rarely been exceeded. The last time was in 2020 when the world entered pandemic lockdown, which was followed by Trump calling on Russia and the Saudis to cut oil production, to keep oil prices high and gasoline prices high, and this led to the price shocks that we eventually saw. Yeah, from this point forward, the price of oil and gasoline kept on increasing until Russia invaded Ukraine. That sent the price through the roof. That caused all the price shocks that we saw. And of course, Trump went to oil CEOs and asked for $1 billion. And this has experts believing that Trump will do a repeat of this to help keep oil prices high. Here in Canada, it's a conundrum because we're an oil-producing nation. High oil prices means high GDP, means a lot of activity for Alberta. Low oil prices means lower GDP and less activity out in Alberta. But for those of us who do not live in Alberta, higher oil prices, higher fuel prices means higher prices overall, higher interest rates, etc., etc., etc. And the irony is that increased supply would be better at fighting off the threats of EVs. Yeah, cheap gasoline kind of erases the advantages of buying an electric vehicle. The advantage of an electric vehicle is that you recharge it instead of refueling it, so you don't have to worry about the high gas prices. But if the gas prices aren't high, whereas this, driving oil prices up to feed the greed of oil companies, that will drive up fuel prices and will drive more people towards EVs. So we here in Canada are basically in a no-win scenario. A Trump loss means things will stay the way they are right now. That oil prices will stay low, likely even lower in the future, lower gasoline prices. That means less price growth, lower interest rates. It's better for you and me. But given that we're an oil-producing nation, it's not so good for the GDP, and it's a problem for Alberta. But if Trump wins, that might be a boost to the GDP, it might be a boost to Alberta. But it's going to suck for the regular people, because we're going to be paying higher prices, and the interest rates are going to go back up. I'm just the messenger. You can go right to them and complain.